All right, guys. So lately, the Buick has been the most popular car on the channel. For what reason, I have no idea. But I've been daily driving it on and off for about 4 years now. It's been primarily my summertime daily driver. This year, that might change. The car might see a winter with me. It's seen winters in the past, but it's never seen a Michigan winter. So unfortunately, this winter it might have to be the everyday car. We'll see. We'll see. It's very, very clean underneath. That's why I've tried to spare it in the past, but you never know. But anyway, I've had the car for about 4 years. I bought it right before COVID. Got it for $2,900. At the time, I was under the impression that it had 60,000 miles on it. It does not. The gauge cluster has been swapped. So who knows how many miles it has. That's neither here nor there at this point. For 4 years, it's been my primary vehicle, and it's treated me very well. I've had to do overall very little to it. It's gotten me where I've needed to go without drama for the most part, and I've really enjoyed driving it. I live in Metro Detroit here, and it's a busy area with crappy roads, crappy infrastructure, and a car like this, it's the only thing that keeps me sane going through traffic every day. But yeah, let's start with what's gone wrong with it in 4 years. What have I had to do to it? The only real big repair that I've had to do to the car is struts, and those cost about 200 bucks. I put them on myself in about 2 hours total. It was very easy, not really a big deal, and it fixed the problem. The car was really, when you'd hit a overpass on the highway, the thing would really start bouncing around. So new struts fixed that. They were Gabriel Ultra ready mounts or something. Whatever the case, they were very easy. They're, like I said, about 200 bucks. Another thing that's gone wrong with the car is cruise control. Take a step in here. Now, I don't know what is wrong with this. I don't know if it's some vacuum actuator or something's not right. When the car's cold, for example, in the morning, the cruise control usually works okay. And as the day gets hotter, or as you use the cruise control more, sometimes it will just turn off, or if you try to actually actuate it, it won't work. Very odd. When I went to New York City in June, I drove this car all the way there from Detroit, and I kept wanting to use cruise control and it wouldn't let me, or I would turn it on and it would work for 5 minutes and then it would just turn off. I haven't figured this issue out yet. I will try my best to figure this out somewhat soon because it is kind of irritating. Other issues I've had in here, HVAC. So I had the driver's side blend door go out, and what that means is the passenger side works to the way you set it on the switchboard. The driver's side does not. The driver's side right now is set to cold all the time. In the summertime, that's not a problem because you want it to be cold all the time anyway. However, now we are getting into the fall and I would like to have heat, so I have to just close my vents and run the passenger side heater. Kind of irritating. I took the blend door out. Unfortunately, I was not able to get the new one in, so now I can just reach up there with some pliers and I can manually turn the blend door, but it does not work as, you know, the factory intended anymore, unfortunately. So that's kind of a shame. Also, the blend door that changes the airflow from your feet to your face to the windshield, that one kind of has a mind of its own. Sometimes it works fine, sometimes it doesn't. So sometimes you want to use the defroster and it's stuck on the floor. Sometimes you want to shoot it at your face and it's stuck on the defroster. It's kind of a weird setup. I believe that blend door actuator is even harder to replace based on my research, so that is why I haven't done it yet. But yeah, kind of irritating. That kind of sucks. But I'm sure I'm going to have to do that eventually. We can take a look under the hood now. As you can see, the hood is garbage. Well, the hood's not garbage, but the paint job is. That was a absolutely awful paint job on my part. I'm not quite sure what happened there. But under here, what else has gone wrong? I had this pulley here. It actually broke off on me one day while I was driving, and that sent this belt off kilter, which sent this belt off kilter, and both of those belts got wrapped around the balancer of the engine and actually locked the engine up while I was driving it. Sounds really crazy, super weird, but when you look down there and you see that engine mount, the engine mount that goes on the front of a Park Avenue, of the engine in a Park Avenue, both of these belts actually pass through that engine mount. And the problem is that mount is somewhat close to the balancer, and when both of those belts started wrapping around the balancer gets bigger as you add more layers of belt to it, and then it got lodged on that engine mount and locked the engine up. So I had to get the car up in the air and actually cut both of the belts off so that I could replace them. And replacing these belts was a pain in the butt. You have to remove this engine mount, you have to jack the engine up, lower the engine down. It was just a pain in the butt. It took me a long time. So that's all that's really gone wrong over here. The power steering pump is leaking a little bit. Not quite enough for me to like replace it yet, but I will have to eventually. The steering rack is also leaking. That is going to be a big pain in the butt to do. So I've been putting that off. But eventually I will have to do that as well. It's not a crazy leak, you know, I can put fluid in there and it can last for months, but it does leak. So eventually I will need to replace that, assuming I keep the car for a long time, which I've planned to. I've had it for 4 years. It's gotten me where I've needed to go. I like the car, so I intend to keep it nice, you know, within reason. This transmission mount down there, I had that go bad, which would cause the whole powertrain to kind of move around on its own free will. So I replaced that. That was pretty cheap. That was, I don't know, 20-30 bucks. That was actually pretty easy to do. If you're going to do this, I recommend you just remove the bolts going into the transmission and remove this entire mount out as one piece. I tried to replace just the mount, and that was more trouble than it was worth. Just do yourself a favor and remove all these 3 bolts going to the transmission and the big bolt on the bottom, and save yourself the trouble. It'll be a lot easier for you. That's about it though. I know it sounds like kind of a long list, but it's really not too bad for 4 years of daily driving. I've put about 21,000 miles on this car myself, and who knows how many it had before me, because like I said, the gauge cluster has been swapped, so nobody really knows how many miles the thing has. At this point, I don't really care. As long as it keeps doing what I need it to do, I'm a happy camper. I try to take care of it. Little stupid issues like the blend doors and stuff for the HVAC, those aren't as big of a concern for me. Things like the engine, transmission, etc., that is. But it gets me where I need to go. It's comfortable. It's actually surprisingly good on gas. And in the inside, it's actually very nice. So overall, pretty good car. My windshield is cracked, but it's like a super low profile crack right along the bottom there. So really not in my view at all, but just enough to annoy me. But you know, all in all, for 4 years of wear and tear, driving in Michigan, going to college, going to my job at a plant, going to my new job now, it takes me where I need to go. So any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I always try to answer them the best I can. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys.